Hey everybody, Rob here at ETrailer.com, and today we're going to be taking a look at the ETrailer Class 3 Custom Fit Trailer Hitch Receiver on our 2017 GMC Acadia Limited. Now we're going to look at the hitch, see what everybody wants to see, what it's going to look like on their car, go over some of the features, and if you stick around to the end, we're also going to show you how to get it installed so you can have the confidence to do it at home. And surprisingly enough, we actually have our hitch installed already. The nice thing about the Acadias here is that we have this trap door panel at the bottom of the fascia. Just got a couple turn knobs. We can loosen those up, pull the panel out, and now we have access to our hitch. So whenever we do want to tow, use any kind of other accessory, it's right here ready for us. But at the same time, when we're not towing, we can still have that really clean appearance on our Acadia because it is going to be covered up with that panel. The ETrailer Hitch is a Class 3, which means it's going to give us that 2" by 2" receiver tube opening and have the widest variety of accessories that we can mount up. Obviously, a trailer hitch can tow a trailer. We can put a ball mount in there, hook up, or if we just want to take a trip to the park with our friends, ride some bikes, put a bike rack in there, or if we're going on a road trip, make some room on the inside of our Acadia by putting a cargo carrier back here and moving some of that gear to the outside. But regardless of how exactly you're going to be using your hitch, all of the accessories are going to mount to the hitch pin hole on the side. The hitch is going to accept a standard 5/8 pin and clip. Now these are not going to come with the hitch, but you can find them here at ETrailer.com, along with some locking devices to make sure your accessories are secure, and anti-rattle devices to cut down on the annoying rattling sound coming from the back of the receiver tube. But if you are going to be doing some towing, you got to have a spot to hook up your safety chains. Even if it's just a utility trailer, you're heading down to the hardware store, or maybe you're going down to the lake pulling a jet ski or a boat. Regardless, you have to have a spot to hook them up. Well, here we got a plate style welded to the bottom of the receiver tube. And if you have what I consider most normal size hooks, we'll have plenty of room to get them hooked on, take them off, and we really don't have to worry about kind of interference or potentially even hitting the car. At the same time, if you have those oversized hooks like these, there's still plenty of room. We're not going to have to fight anything or have to worry about hitting anything or interfering. Just go on and come off real easy. Now, if you're looking for a hitch, you obviously have something in mind you want to do with it. So the amount of weight capacity it has is pretty important. And our hitch is going to have a 500-pound tongue weight. That's going to be the maximum downward force at the end of the receiver tube. To put that in perspective, that's quite a bit amount. We're going to be able to maximize the carrying capacity of those large cargo carriers, or maybe even be able to carry 4 or 5 bikes with us on a bike rack. Now it's also going to have a 5,000-pound gross trailer weight rating. That's how much the hitch can pull, but that does include the trailer and the load we have on it. Now it is designed to work with weight distribution systems as well, and that's going to be a separate component that's mounted on your trailer, but that is going to bump the tongue weight up to 600 pounds and the gross trailer weight rating up to 6,000 pounds. But with all those numbers in mind, I do urge you to double check your Acadia's owner's manual because those are the ratings for our hitch and we don't want to exceed the manufacturer's rating for our car. I'd like to give you a few measurements, and these are going to help you whenever you're looking at accessories for your new hitch, like a ball mount, a bike rack, or even a cargo carrier. From the center of the hitch pin hole to the outermost edge of the bumper, it's going to be right about 4.5 inches. Now that measurement is going to help you when you're looking for folding accessories to make sure you can put them in the upright stored position and not make contact with the rear bumper. From the ground to the inside top edge of the receiver tube opening, it's going to be right about 19 inches. Now that measurement is going to help you out when you're looking for a ball mount so you can find the appropriate rise or drop to match up to your trailer. But now that we've seen what our hitch looks like and gone over some of the features, let's go through the installation process together. To begin our installation, we want to come to the back of our Acadia, and at the very bottom of the rear bumper, we're going to have this removable panel. We're going to have 2 turn knobs on each corner, 1 on each corner, and we just want to give it a quarter turn, and that'll unlock it. You may kind of have to wiggle it loose a little bit. Once you have it loose, kind of pull it out. We're going to pull down, releasing these tabs, and we can set this panel aside for now. Our next step is going to be lowering the exhaust because a couple of our mounting points are right above it, so it's not completely in the way, but it'll make it a lot easier. You do want to make sure you put up a support strap. That way we know it's not going to cause any damage to the exhaust. We just want to find a solid point on the vehicle to hook the strap to. Then I usually just tighten it up so it has a little bit of support before we start lowering it. If we follow our exhaust back to the muffler and we look up, in between the muffler and the spare tire, we're going to have a hanger here and a rubber isolator, and we're going to have another one that's kind of hidden right by the outside fender here, again, just on the other side of the muffler. The main goal is to get the rubber isolator off of the hanger so we can lower it down. The easiest way I found is we'll spray these down with some lubricant so it makes it a little bit easier for them to slide. Then I'm just going to take a pry bar, and I'll actually use this bracket here to kind of pry against and slide that isolator off the hanger. This is a matter of finding the correct position, start working it down. And the one on the outside is going to work the same way. You just want to get your pry bar in there. Start pushing against that isolator until we can get it to slide off. Now that gives us a decent amount of room. We should be able to get in here and get our hardware in place. Now we're over on the driver's side frame rail here. If we look up at the very back, right before our bumper, we're going to have two threaded holes. We're going to have the two same threaded holes on the passenger side. Now those are going to be our two mounting locations on each side. I like to clean these out, so just take a little bit of spray lubricant, spray inside. I'm going to come back with a nylon tube brush. Just make sure you get all the dirt, debris, and rust out of there. That way whenever we put the bolts in, they won't cross thread and we won't have any issues securing them down. We'll go through and we're going to clean all the weld nuts on both sides of the frame. And it's not a bad idea to grab one of the new bolts out of your kit and make sure that you can easily thread it in by hand. And again, it's not going to be cross-threading. And while we're here, go ahead and go over the combination of hardware that's going to be holding the hitch in, because it will be a little bit easier to do it now rather than holding the hitch. But each one of the weld nuts is going to get one of the new bolts. We'll follow it up with a conical tooth washer. There's little teeth on there. You want to make sure those are facing up towards the hitch. We'll go through the hitch plate and secure the bolt into the frame. Now again, that's going to be the same combination for each weld nut, the two on each side. Now I recommend getting an extra set of hands just because it is a little awkward trying to raise the hitch up and get the hardware in. But we're going to raise our hitch, line up the holes in the side plates, the holes in the frame, and then take our hardware. You want to get at least one in on each side. That way the hitch will hold itself up and we can work on getting the rest of the bolts in. So we do have two more mounting locations. They're going to be right back here, right by the receiver tube opening. There's these little tabs that come off the side, and if you look up, you can see that there's a hole that's going through the frame. So in order to get our hardware in place, we want to take our pull wire, we're going to take the coiled end, go through the hitch, into the frame rail, and we want to go towards the outside. You just want to feed your wire in, and behind the bumper, our pull wire will come out at the very corner over here. So you just want to feed your wire through. You may have to reach in and grab it, but it's just long enough that we'll get the very tip of the coiled end to come out. But you want to make sure you leave the tail end still outside the hitch here. So just put a really small bend in it. And now that the coiled end is sticking out, we want to take our square hole spacer block. We're going to slide it over the wire, kind of push it into the end of the frame where the wire is coming from. Take our bolt, we're going to thread it onto the end of the wire, push that back in. We'll grab the end of our pull wire and then start pulling our hardware until we can get that bolt to drop through right here. Now we're going to do the same process for the other hole on the other side. So once you have both bolts through, we'll pull the pull wires off. We'll grab a flange nut out of our kit. You want to be careful not to push it back into the frame, but we'll just get it loosely started and then repeat that for the other bolt on the other side. Now for our side bolts here, I'm going to use a 19mm socket to snug them up. For the center bolts, to tighten those down, you can also use a 3/4 inch socket or that same 19mm socket. You want to make sure you come back with a torque wrench. You're going to torque all your hardware down to the specified amount in the instructions. Now, having an extension will definitely help. It'll kind of bring it down a little bit. We can just push our exhaust to the side. We want to go back and repeat that for all of our remaining hardware. And at this point, we can raise our exhaust back up. I like to spray a little bit more lubricant on the hanger and the isolator. Just makes it a little bit easier to slide back on. Just rotate them into position and just push them back onto the hanger. And we'll do the same thing for the hanger on the outside. Then you're going to remove the support strap from earlier, and that'll finish up your installation and your look at the ETrailer Class 3 custom fit trailer hitch receiver on our 2017 GMC Acadia Limited.